So last month, one of my clients generated over $140,000 from their online business. And in this video, I'm just going to break down exactly how we did it. I think the best part is when we got started working together, he had a really small social media following. So he didn't have nearly enough organic traffic to ever be able to sustain this level of revenue. But what we got him doing is we got him converting with paid ads, and now he is making pretty good money with it. So what I'm going to show you in this video is exactly how we did it. And we're going to go over like the traffic sources, the funnels, some of the nuances that I find really makes this work. Also how we rolled this out. We've been working together for a while on this. And so I think if I was to go back and do this all over again, I can break down how we did it. So hopefully you could do it a little faster. And then at the end, we'll get into the actual real numbers. So just at a really high level, what this guy does is he sells a high ticket offer online. He is like a online coach. He has a really good training program. And so he has a high ticket offer, and we generate everything through a VSL sales call funnel. That is our number one main funnel where 95% of the business comes from. Is we run them to a landing page, then they see a video page that has a short video sales letter, and then we run people through an application, a calendar, and we get on the phone with them and sell them over the phone. Most of our traffic comes from meta ads. So we started with Facebook and Instagram. We added YouTube and Google search. To be honest, ever since since YouTube switched over to that like demand gen campaigns, it has just been like way less performing for us. So we probably spend 90% of our cold traffic budget on Facebook and Instagram, and then like 10% goes towards one campaign that we have running on YouTube and some Google search. For retargeting, we're all over the place. So we've got retargeting that is running on, again, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google. And this is where we see like way better performance on the Google side is we've got it running on all retargeting for there. And like that's even too, like most of our YouTube conversions come from our YouTube retargeting campaign. And then I have over here in slow traffic is like, we do have a traffic source where they're posting online, they're on social media. They've got like a podcast they do every couple weeks. They're posting educational stuff there. And I think this is super important for brands, especially these days. Like it is extremely valuable to have some kind of online presence so that when these people find out about you, hear about you, and they go start Googling you, you start to see what the content they're putting out online. So this is really important, but it's also just really slow. And again, like they have, even I think right now, less than like 2,000 subs on YouTube. It's not a huge number of people. And so for that reason, like the vast majority of our leads and sales come from paid ads. And again, running through the funnel is like, again, we broke down, it's just like a main normal VSL sales call funnel. A couple of the nuances we found is like when we run ads and generate leads from here, just to not be running people always back to the same VSL and just like absolutely hammering them with the same message, because we do find we get some fast action takers, but like definitely when we look in our CRM, there's a huge number of people who are on our email list for months, sometimes even years, before they actually decide to move forward. And so in order to have like some diversity there, we make these like little bonus training pages. And so these are just like little videos, maybe even like this that are on a landing page with a call to action underneath, or we've got some kind of like little freebie value thing that we're giving them. And then we send these out, and then this just drive people back to an application to book a call. Same thing with the sales page. Like we didn't need this in the very beginning, but in the end we did a sales page so that we have like our whole offer broken down. And then this also just drives people through the application. We've got retargeting running here. We've got a little bit of Google search running here. And it's mostly just for like nurturing so that we're not just constantly sending people back to the same 2 pages. I'll break down in the phases here in a second. Like you don't need that in the very, very beginning, but I have found that that's been really helpful for us to have in the long run. So let's talk about like the phases to roll this out really quick, because if you were just getting started, you wouldn't want to try to do all of this at once. It would just be way too much work. And so the way that we did this was we started with one traffic campaign. And so that was Facebook. I found Facebook is like the easiest platform to test on. And again, ever since YouTube went to like demand gen, it's just been a much tougher platform for us to crack for sure. So we started with one platform, Facebook. We just figured out what was like the winning landing page and the winning front end offer. These guys had done a lot of content in the past. And so like they had tons of webinars, tons of trainings, all of that stuff. In the very beginning, it was just figuring out what was going to work, and that what was going to work was like a super direct VSL. So we helped them put that together. We figured out like, what is our winning cold traffic ad? What's the right angle, the right messaging? What's the right targeting? And we had some really basic retargeting set up. With this, we were profitable within the first 30 days of starting to run ads because we were generating calls and we were getting a few sales from it. And we weren't spending a lot of money. I think that first month we probably spent like $5,000 on ads. And then once we got into that, then we started really optimizing our ad campaigns. And so this is when we started scaling up the budget a little bit. We started testing a bunch of ads. We started testing a bunch of images, a bunch of videos, a bunch of headlines, all that kinds of stuff. And even here, it's like we were able to not spend a lot more money, but drastically cut down our cost to get a call, actually book a call with the sales team by just making better ads. I think in the very beginning, anytime you're running ads, this beginning part is the hardest part because you just don't really know what's work. You're having to buy data to figure out what is going to be the best thing for you and your campaigns and the best messaging for your market. So this is the hard part. And then as you start to figure out what's working and you can lean into that, your numbers definitely get way better. Also, the Facebook pixel starts to learn more about who are the people that are taking the actual actions that you want them to take on the platform. And so this gets easier. At that stage, the client brought us on to actually optimize their funnel. So at this point, we had just kind of set everything at bare bones, but we weren't doing anything with the funnel. And so at this point, we just totally took over. And so this is where we started split testing landing pages. We tested a new VSL. Honestly, the thing that made the biggest difference for us was adding in this email marketing because they were doing what a lot of companies do online, which they were sending 1 or 2 emails a month. And so when we actually went in and set up a long-term automation that was one specifically directed for all of the people who were opting in right here. And so we set up a really good automation here that we've been optimizing for a while. And then we made sure that we were sending out multiple emails a week. I think that increased our calls that we were getting from our paid ads by 25-30%, if I remember correctly, just because we started making sure that we were following up with people and not just assuming that everybody who clicks on an ad is immediately going to want to book a call and buy, but we're going to need to nurture people, build up that know, like, and trust. So that email marketing and those automations were a huge help for this campaign. After that, we started taking the campaigns to other platforms. And so this was where we actually went out and set up Google Search, Google Display for retargeting, LinkedIn, and we started running YouTube ads. YouTube ads were actually doing way better for us. But then again, over the last couple of months, YouTube, we've just, through looking at the numbers, dropped the budget on YouTube and shifted that over to Meta because it's just been working way better for us. You can't argue with the numbers. That's also where we started building out these supporting pages. So in the very beginning, we just had these 4 pages in order to do all of this. And then we started building out these bonus trainings and an actual sales page that we could run people to. And then finally, the very last phase, what we started doing this month, or not started doing this month, but what we started doing recently was, one, focusing a little bit more on the organic presence, and then also making some low ticket offers and just splintering out some of the stuff that we were doing with the coaching in the community into low ticket products so that we could sell those to, again, the people who are on our email list, have not bought anything, have not booked a call, have not moved forward. They can get a little taste of what it's like to work with us. And then is sending those into high ticket customers. So we didn't even take those to cold traffic. We just used them in our backend, and those have had a really good ascension rate. I think last time I was looking at it, I think we had 20% of the people who were buying these low ticket products were moving into high ticket. So it was a very significant number of people. If you take that course that we put together, it was a very good chance that you will be moving into our high ticket product. And so that's what that looks like. Just for the numbers last month, we didn't even spend a lot of money on ads. We even dropped the budget a little bit this month. So we spent almost $19,000 on ads. We booked 144 calls for about $131 per call. We generated $148,000 in revenue. 118 of that was coming from the actual main high ticket program. And then the other 30 is coming from recurring. I think this is another really good, little thing for anyone who's selling high ticket is figuring out what is that ongoing recurring, because this definitely helps. It makes a big difference. And so that's just an ongoing community. So it's once you graduate from the main program, if you want to stick around, continue to get support, continue to be involved in the community, there's just a small monthly fee in order to do that. And I think that's a really smart move for anybody who has high ticket right now, is getting away from just having a one time you can join. And then maybe, a lot of people have a one time front end and then a mastermind or something on the back end, but having some kind of recurring community so that people can stick around and have some kind of upsell retention path. And so that's it. That's really the whole breakdown. Again, I think some of the big things here have been just for MVP, if you're just getting started, figure out how you can run ads to a VSL and use that to make money. There's definitely there's other funnels and stuff out there, but I have just found a VSL funnel is the most simplest thing to get up, start optimizing, and has the least moving pieces, and you're driving people to a call. So you can actually get on the phone with people and talk to them about what is happening in your messaging that they're resonating with, what are they seeing in the market for other places, what do they really want? And that will give you like the best marketing feedback over the first couple of months as you're doing that. So like this is just what I have seen is like the most tried and true way to get any high ticket offer up and running. Once you have that, you can start thinking about some of this other stuff. Definitely having organic traffic is like a huge value add in the long run. The problem for most companies is unless you have a giant audience, you will never be able to sustain these kinds of numbers. You know, when you have a 200 person audience, or your Instagram posts are getting 50 views, or your YouTube videos are getting 300 views, like this just isn't going to happen. And so that's where paid ads become a massive value add. And then if you can have both of these running at the same time, like then you're really starting to build a moat for your brand, and you're really starting to like have some longevity in what you're doing. So that's a whole breakdown. Hopefully you found this really helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. Drop any comments down below. Also, I've got a link to my mentorship program where I'm helping people run this exact type of funnel. So I've got a little bit of information down on that below as well. So again, that's all I got for this video. If you like this video, there's probably some other videos popping up, I think on this side of my face over here, where you can check out more videos like this. I hope you have a great day out there, and I hope to catch you in another video soon.